And I just remember growing up, I didn't, I didn't like who I was, and really that was the seed, I believe, of so many people's, future illness, but, mine for sure. There was a lot of stories of I'm not enough or I'm not worthy. And I took that into my future. As a kid, I wanted to be somebody like a Mick Jagger or Tony Robbins. Like, I wanted to be in the media. Unfortunately, there was no Asian people in the media I could look up to. And my mom said, you know what, we didn't sacrifice our lives to come to America for you to be an entertainer. So I'm going to give you three choices. You could be a doctor, an MD, or a physician. And so I went to medical school. But I always carried this, I need something outside of myself. I need to prove to myself and other people that I'm worthy. And it was a life of chasing success. I went to medical school. I got into a very competitive residency. I trained at the NIH. I trained at UCLA. I got a Howard Hughes Medical Institute award. I'm not saying that to impress people. I'm saying that because
it's pretty impressive, though.
I'm chasing all these accolades, and I find myself being a poster child for a Dalai Lama quote.
What is it?
He was asked by a reporter what he found most interesting about humanity, and he said, man, because he would sacrifice his health in order to make money, and then sacrifice his money to recuperate his health.
Yeah, that's a beautiful quote, because that's something I always say. I mean, your wealth is your health, right? I mean, if you don't have your health, you don't have nothing, right?
Yeah. Well, I think that's not the story that resonated within me, but now, so many of my clients come to me, they face the same thing.
It's an ongoing.
Yeah, we potentially have these wounds that we grow up with, and there's a narrative that we listen to the Matrix, or we listen to these messages that come in from the outside. Oh, that career is not right for you. You shouldn't follow that part of your dream, or that thing that lights you up. You are not worthy. You are not enough. And there's all these messages that we pick up that some people might actually start believing in those things. And the thing is, if you're not good with yourself and you start chasing, that energy of chasing something that you're not actually causes your body to go into distress mode. You have increased cortisol that goes in, and this is a biological and physiological thing that happens.
Yeah.
Inflammation goes up, your immune system goes down, and guess what? You're living a stressed life, and then you have a stressed out lifestyle. So me, as a medical doctor, trained at some of the most reputable institutions all around the world, 5 years into my training, or not 5 years into me being an attending, I've achieved quote unquote success. However, I was overweight, I was diabetic, I had high blood pressure, and I was on prescription medications. So I end up, having early stage disease of the people that ended up in my operating room.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And so that was the true wake up call from what I've, started to shift my life. And being.
But was there a moment or something inspired? Like what clicked? There's always a moment, whether you stop smoking. There's always a moment where it's just like, boom, this happened. Where it's like that light. What was that moment for you?
Yeah, I think it was a series of moments that I thought, what the hell is happening to me in my life? There was a year where I had discovered I was overweight and diabetic. I would look at myself in the mirror every single day and say, you're a freaking phony. You are not the epitome of health. I had that going for me. Yeah. I had a close uncle who passed away very, very early. I mean, he was only 50 years old of lung cancer. I had a woman in my life that I thought I was going to marry at the time leave me for another man because I was so gung-ho on building this practice. And so all these things I felt were happening to me, not knowing that all those things were actually happening for me. And I would recall walking on rounds in the hospital one day, and I pick up the chart to go see this patient of mine. I remember his name was Ishmael, 43-year-old pancreatic cancer, probably only has a couple months to live. And I remember, I'm supposed to drain 10 liters of fluid from his belly. When you have cancer, sometimes what happens is those cancer cells plug up, your lymphatic systems, and you've got this huge belly of fluid. And so tap 10 liters of fluid from this guy. I was thinking, this guy is going to be really sick, and I'm going to walk into this room from some guy who's really destitute. I better put myself together. I know I'm a wreck right now, but I better put myself together. Anyway, I walk in the door, open the door to Ishmael's room. And there he is. Hey, Doc, how are you, man? I am so glad you're here. I can't wait for you to take out this food because I'm going to feel so much better. Doc, I'm ready for this. And in my mind, I'm thinking, Jesus.
Perspective.
This guy's about to die, and he has just got the most beautiful energy. And so I couldn't stop, I couldn't help myself but ask him, Ishmael, how are you so positive right now at this time? And he said, Doc, it's easy. And he said something like, it didn't always used to be this way. I used to always be stressed out, in my life as well. But I realized one thing, no matter what is happening in the outside world, I could always choose how I show up. All right. And now I make the choice to show up with love, with positivity. And man, his energy was infectious, with all the nurses, everybody in that hospital. But he really gave me that wake up call, that my reality at that time was probably a reflection of how I was living my life, of saying no to my own dreams, of building this thing and chasing this thing that's not mine. So, when I met him and he really just reminded me that we have the power of choice, that in any moment of time, we can choose how we show up. No matter what the circumstances are, we can show up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really, it was that big pause that now I'm like, all right, how do I want to show up in my life?